have gotten back and together, but uh, with the kid, with my oldest graduating, it just feels like it's the month of June is like already
Yeah, I can
feels
understand.
packed. I'm like,
No, I can
man,
understand that. That's, understandable. I know it's been a couple weeks for us, so, but, June is, like you said, although we just started June on Monday, but,
yeah,
um, listen, if you got ministry and you got family to balance with it, then, I've been there, so
yeah,
I know the drill.
yeah. What I was thinking is we'll um aim at staying the course, and we'll add August, right? And then if we need to, then we'll work through the September.
Okay.
My hope is we don't have to. My hope is that we're good time wise and it doesn't
Well,
take.
I think if anything, because, even August is well, we'll see. I think between June and July, right? Once you settle down in June,
Mhm.
at least if it's me and you, July I should be able to accomplish some stuff in July.
Yeah.
If it involves the team, hmm, excuse me, August is usually, I'm sorry, I was fighting a cold since last Monday.
Oh man. Man, my wife has been like that too, but almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, yes, this past Monday was too, I hate colds, especially summer colds, But I was gonna say August because it's midsummer. It's
Yeah.
difficult for people, difficult for meetings and things like that. So, well, but we should still be able to get through. I was looking over the entire um, Organize Your Choice for Growth proposal
Yeah.
today, just to see kind
Here we
of
are.
to go back to not just where we are, but what we need to accomplish.
Yep.
So I'm saying all that to say, even if we have to do something in September, it shouldn't be that much, I don't think.
Yeah,
You know,
and when I said I hope I hope we don't have to, it less me concerned about me and more me hoping that we're keeping it to the timeline in terms of our commitments to you.
I got you. I got you.
So yeah, I honestly I don't have a problem with extending it, and even if we needed to hey, there's some trainings that we need to do and we'll just schedule it for September, you know, that's fine. We'll figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that'll be a last resort. I figured that, Ariel. I appreciate your heart, and I know that that's the way that you are. And so
Yeah.
that's the benefit of knowing who you're working with, right? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that, and I know that you work with us to get, especially the things that we feel, I guess, the tension points, for lack of a better word, the things that we feel are
Crucial.
most needful, most
Yeah.
crucial. Yes, yes. Let me just grab my pen. I thought I had my pen with me, and then then we can jump right in.
Yep. Yeah. While you grab your pen, I'm gonna just grab my charger because my battery just took a big dive. So give me a moment.
Are you following basketball? Are you a Knicks fan?
Oh my gosh. That's part of the reason why it took me so long to get home is that I promised the kids that they were gonna at least stay up through halftime. So we had to make it to Trader Joe's to get popcorn. They want the cookies from Trader Joe's they took advantage. But there was so much traffic. Trader Joe's should have taken us 5, 7 minutes, and we had to go to the library because they borrow a video game. And it took me 20 minutes to go from their school to the library, which it should take me 20 minutes on foot. So then from the library to Trader Joe's, that took about 7 minutes. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And they're like having a blast, you know. Their music is
But
bumping. They're like, we're waiting for, and I'm like, oh my God, move, move cars.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
I'm
well, let's
I'm
hope they win tonight. I mean, we'll see what happens.
I'm hoping they will. I'm hoping they will. I think if they will, the I mean, it looks like it would be an they'll have the, they would only be 2 games away. Like,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah,
look so
but I mean, when you're in the finals, man, any team can win four in a row. It doesn't matter.
that is the
You can
truth.
be up 3-0, but they got all of New York excited.
They do. And they look, you know what it is? They look very stoic. Like
Yeah,
nothing, they're not gonna overreact. They're not, it's like
true,
this, we're playing our game and
true.
you know, um and you know what it is for me as a I mean, I was a diehard Knicks fan. And then Charles Smith with his little layup. I'm like, how tall are you? Dunk the ball. And they lost that game. After that, I was just like, forget the Knicks, forget basketball. And they went through their woes for a couple of years. So, so when they got Brunson, it kind of started to catch my attention again.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, so there's a lot of excitement. And my kids, all they know is Knicks. So they're
Really? Oh, that's good. That's good.
yeah.
So at least they can stay for halftime. Let's hope the Knicks entertain them.
Yeah, what I expect is for them to just stay close, and then fourth quarter they'll just do what they do.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope. I
But
can,
but
the Spurs are an awesome team, so I don't know.
they are
You know, they're
they
just
are
too good.
they're a really good team. But I mean, 12 in a row is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Hello, buddy. What are you doing? This is so you can study? Okay. Um, can I just ask a couple of questions just to kind of
Absolutely.
catch
However
me
you
up
want to
with
do this
stuff?
today. However you want
Yeah,
to do this.
I know that we've worked on some stuff and we had um um so we had the first time guests that Elder Sharice was working with, and then we also had some stuff in place with the not the elders, the uh
Trustees?
trustees, yes. Yes. Even when you saying it, I had to process it in my brain. What was the word? Trustees, yes. So just catch me up. How's things going with the trustees and the game plan and stuff? And then how are things going with the connection process?
Yeah. Everything is still a work in progress. That's the best way to put it.
Okay.
And the most important thing to me though is that we keep at what it is that we said we're going to do. So to answer this question specifically, first with the trustees, they're continuing to push what we said we would in terms of the giving campaign.
Okay.
Um, we're at the midway point, and you figured if you're at the midway point, you would want half the money that you're
Hmm.
asking for.
Yeah.
At least that's those are like I guess metrics that you kind of hope on. But we're not. I think right now we're at 20,000, something like that, in
And
terms of what's been received
okay.
of the 150.
Okay.
Um, I think the number. We're supposed to be getting a report today from the treasurer. I'm sorry. I think our last number, Ariel, was at 36 or 38 um, pledges.
Okay.
We wanted 50. Um, but we're continuing to encourage people to do so and to do what they can.
Yeah.
So in terms of the plan, they're sticking with the plan.
Okay.
And then a couple Sundays ago, Jeff gave a few pointers, just about, why we're giving and things like that. So they're on task with that.
Okay.
We just need to get more people you
To
know,
give.
to
Yeah.
give, um, and I'm hoping, you know, to increase the number. I
Yeah.
wanted, even if we weren't at 75,000 in June, at the end of June, I wanted to be at 50
Okay.
at least. But
And
the last number that I saw was 20.
so is there and I don't know if this Monday is too last minute, but I'm thinking, is there an opportunity to connect with the trustees um soon?
I can ask.
Yeah, even if it's let me just see. Um
Monday's date is the 8th.
yeah, the 8th. See the 8th, yeah, the 8th. Would they be available on Tuesday the 9th?
I can ask.
Yeah, yeah, just my the 8th is an award ceremony for my son. Or not for my son, but for his grade.
Right.
Um, so I'm not gonna be home till later in the day. Um, but Tuesday, yeah, if we did 8 to 9 o'clock, gives me an opportunity just to catch up, check in, and um, because one of the questions that comes to mind um, is it that people are not giving? That could be one.
Right.
Is it there's just not enough people that are giving to reach the goal? So if we've got, let's say, 50 giving households and each one gives $300 or $3,000, then yeah, we can reach the goal. But if you've got 20 giving households and each one gives $3,000, that's not enough. Right? So that giving household number is just something we may have to take a look at.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I mean that's a good point, but I thought they kind of figured that out, and that's why they landed on the 150 and the 50 people at $3,000. That's what I thought. But I'm gonna put so Tuesday is the 9th, was it? 6,
yep.
9, 8 p.m.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. And the other side to this too, Pastor, is that people are last minute people. Like what I wish people would do is they would take the 3,000 divided by 12 and set aside whatever that number is, two something per month. But what most people do is they're like, oh, this thing is urgent. Oh, this other thing. You know what? By the time November hits, we'll give
Yeah,
80% of it or something like that.
yeah. I realize that also. I realize that
Um,
also. So I
but
mean, like you said, but we've been pushing. I'm While we're doing this, I'm gonna actually text them now and ask them if they can meet on Tuesday at 8 p.m.
yeah,
Maybe by the time we finish, everybody will answer.
yeah, yeah. And the same Zoom link as this one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So to continue to answer your question, so they're on track with that. As
Okay.
far as the assimilation,
Hmm.
um, they actually have a meeting on Monday
Okay.
to continue to talk about what else can be done. Um, I mean, just my opinion. I think that again, what needs to happen, and I spoke to Sharice about this about me, and she said she would follow up with me in terms of um, meeting to explain what I mean. When I asked the deacons to create and to do the assimilation program, my overall concept to them is for them to create it and not necessarily be the ones to do it. So, which means to me that they have at their disposal anybody in the church who's available that can perhaps follow up with somebody, pray with somebody, however it is. I think though what's happening is, and this is just by observation, you know, I don't know this for 100% sure, but I think what's happening is they're trying to do it. And
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 just to confirm that the language in the meetings I've had with them has been them kind of, hey, and I've said, no, no, we need to look for a team. Is there a guy or two who can help you? I I can't remember if the gentleman was your son-in-law. Well,
probably Sam.
Sam, yes, that's your son-in-law, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So I think he plays drums.
yes,
Okay, so he mentioned, there's sometimes I'm playing drums, sometimes I got to do this other thing, and I'm
right,
like, I get it. You're busy, but is there other people that can help? And I think that's kind of when we talked about the leveling up as leaders workshop that, we talked about trying to schedule. That's one of the things that I wanted to address because I think the natural thought process for most people is I have to do the task. And that's very limiting because what that's going to do is it's going to put you in a. I still remember this. I had a small groups coach that I brought on years ago because I had no clue how to run small groups. And I remember having a conversation with him. I'm like, I work full time and I am stressed. I had 20 people who wanted to open up their homes. I had almost 100 that wanted to join groups, and everybody was coming to me. And I was like, I have no clue how to do this. This is way too much. And so he had flown in. We had a meeting with all of the leaders. There was like 20 leaders, 25 leaders in the room. And he just said, hey, how many of you can give me 2 hours a week? People raised their hand. 4 hours a week, 5 hours. By the time we were done, I had almost 40 hours of manpower available to me to help me do small groups. And I was like that was an unlock. Like, I'm over here stressed because I only have 40 hours. I had an additional 40 hours. I didn't
yeah,
know what to do with all 40 hours, you know,
right,
right? But it's that thought process that, you know what, there are people that
right,
are available. They may not be available 24 hours a day, 9 to 5, but they might be able to give you an hour in an evening to make a phone call or two.
right, right. And so yeah, and that's I'm not sure, Pastor Ariel, what else it takes to for them to make that jump from I'm not doing it, I need to create it so that others can do it. And like I said, so what happened was my last conversation with Charisse, I told her that that's what I explained the first time. So she wasn't aware of that because she's just taking this over. So
Hmm.
she said she will revisit. Um, so they've created this 2 by 2 by 2 thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that's going. So
Hmm.
because our guests, first time guests, is sort of like 2 weeks in a row we may have first time guests, and then 2 weeks in a row we won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of sporadic in terms of me hearing some sort of feedback, and then utilizing the texting things called
Church.
text and church.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm I think the jury's still out, at least in my mind, on how that's really going. I don't think it has a flow yet. I think there's still a learning process that's going on, not
Yeah.
just to learn the system, but to figure out what is not just to learn the follow up system, but to figure out what are we saying the assimilation system is.
Yeah.
It's follow up, but then what else is it? Are we moving toward membership? I think all that still has to be solid
Hmm.
in everybody's mind.
Yeah.
And I think that'll happen. I don't doubt that it won't. I just think right now it's a little rocky. Now, that's coming from me. You might speak with them. They
Hmm.
may say, what is Pastor Curtis talking about? We got this all together. But from what I hear,
Hmm.
that's what it sounds like. But like I said, though, I think it's just a matter of them being clear and um, knowing what it is that they're supposed to do. I think
Yeah.
that we'll get there. I don't think we're there yet, but I think we'll get there.
So give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Let me look up this. I think I have the playlist. Um, Before we're done, remind me to show you Cowork,
For work.
Claude Cowork. Um, I'm still figuring out how to use it, but it's been like holy macro. It's AI, but it's just been another level that I'm just sitting back and saying, man, if I can show pastors how to use this, um, it
And what is it called
literally
again? What is it called?
Claude, it's called Claude, and then
Okay.
there's one component called Cowork. Um, and it literally it sits on your computer, so it has access to all your files or your Google files. Um, and
That
what
sounds scary.
not, I tell you what, I am able
Boy,
to manage so much more now, um, because of it. How can I get you this link? This is the course. What's the course link? There it is. Okay, so I am going to message you. This is a link to a course. It may not even whoever sees it might just have to mess around with the order,
okay.
because it may not be in its right order right now. Actually, yeah. So how do I change this? Visibility, private, unlisted. All right, let me see if this works. But I sent you the link. Um, if it doesn't do what I think it needs to do, because if you open it right now, you're going to see only a handful of videos.
Okay.
But I'm trying to get all of them to be watch like that you can watch them and in the right order. So I've got
Okay.
to just move things around into the right order. But what this is this is a training on assimilation that I had put together. Um, the problem is that I uploaded everything into YouTube, and YouTube is not easy in terms of managing mass video. So they're
Right.
all in draft mode when I want them to be in visible mode.
I see.
But yeah, but you've got the link. I'll mess with it and try to get it up and running, so that way everything is available. Um, so for me, when I'm looking at this assimilation process, I am looking at first time guests, right? The welcome experience. I am looking at follow up. I'm looking at some sort of meet and greet. I'm looking at a membership class and then what we call onboarding. So let me just see if I can draw this out. Where's the share button? And then I'll just map out everything below it. Right. So we're talking about, right, the first step is a welcoming experience. This is where we talk, you know, people helping you from the parking lot, all the way to, um, opening the doors. I mean, let me see. It's called, uh, it's not connection steps.
Hospitality?
Yeah, it's like hot. Yeah. So I've outlined, and I have it somewhere, but there are seven, in my opinion, seven key areas you need to monitor in regards to the experience. So obviously you've got the parking lot, you've got your front doors, you've got the children's check-in, you've got your people getting seated, you've got the bathrooms, you've got the worship moment, you've got the sermon, and then you've got the exit. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I might have added one too many. So parking lot and front doors might be kind of together. Um, so when I'm looking at the welcoming experience, these are the things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at how are people being exited on the way out. I'm looking at the bathrooms. I'm looking at how are the ushers greeting people, sitting people, how the children check in. So all of this are little things that, we're just kind of taking a look at and making sure that everything is okay. So this is in essence what I would call step one of a connection process. The reason that I always include this as part of the connection process is because if you don't have a good first date, you're not getting the phone number. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting a second date, right? So to me, this is like the first date. Then, is there a way that I can? And then, so step two obviously is your follow-up. And I know you guys are doing like the 2 by 2. I like to do the 4 week follow-up, um, 3 touches a week. So week one for me is building trust. Week two is serve, where I'm serving them. Week three is serve. And then week four, I'm inviting them to take some next steps. If no response, I move to long-term follow-up. Long-term follow-up simply means once a month invite to something, to a service you might be doing. You just give it a title. So like in 2 weeks, you're doing Father's Day. So they would get a text message the week before saying, hey, this Sunday is our Father's Day donut extravaganza service, whatever you want to call it. And
Yeah.
then, we would be inviting them. Um, these 4 weeks, look, some people, when they look at 4 weeks, 3 touches a week, they're like, oh my gosh, that's way too much. The reason that it doesn't bother me at all is because for the right person, the person who's really interested in the ministry, if we're giving them tools that are going to help them, it's not going to be a bother. If we are giving them, we're kind of just trying to coerce them to come back. And our language is more of like, look how cool my church is, look how nice we are, look how great we are. Then the communication becomes about us. But when the communication is about them, it's, hey, this is how can we pray for you? Here's a devotional for you. Here's a video on parenting. Here's a right. I'm serving you. I'm trying to give you. I'm trying to help you. Um, and so what I find is when our language is focused on them and their needs, then it's a lot more people are a lot more receptive because they're
I
like,
have a
okay,
question. You have week two and week three as the same, serve. Is that what you meant?
yes. So typically week two, I'll revolve around prayer, and then this one around the word. So when I say serve, I mean how can I serve them? So Tuesday might be a text message that says, how can I pray for you? Thursday might be a short devotional video about how, maybe it's a video testimony about how somebody prayed and God answered, you know. And then Saturday would just be another reminder like, hey, this Sunday is going to be X, Y, and Z. Week three might be like, hey, here's a link to YouVersion, or here's a link to a devotional. Here's something that you can read to begin helping you understand the basics of the faith. Then it might be a video about reading or an email about reading or something pertaining to God's word, the authoritative word or something like that. Like imagine you recorded a video and you said something to the effect of, um, some people question the reliability of God's word. But did you know, and I forgot the exact stat, but it's something to the effect that the trust level of the Bible is higher than even, writings from Socrates and some of these individuals. So it's almost how do we use extra biblical resources to affirm the authority of the Bible? because the same level of critique that we apply to the Bible, or the same level of critique that we put to these old writings, when we apply it to the Bible, it passes with flying colors, right? Something that just kind of they walk away saying, "Oh, I didn't know that," and it just helps them, or the historical context of Scripture. How do we get the Bible? Why do we have the Bible? Like, what happened? Think something like that that just helps them walk away understanding more, or being able to say, "Hey, this thing is credible. Do I still believe everything in it? Maybe not, because some of those red letters are hard to believe, the dead being raised, but, you know, in comparison to other writings, contemporary writings to the Bible, it's a lot more credible. So again, that's the purpose of this, is I'm trying to make the case of, how can I pray for you, right? How can I serve you in these ways? Man, I want you to know that God's word, you want to live a better life, live based on biblical principles. You want to experience God's blessings. So that's kind of step two.
So what
Um,
is next steps again? Can you explain number four, week
oh
four? What's
yes,
next steps?
sorry, I completely skipped that. So next steps would be an invitation to a next step, like a physical next step. So it could be a meet and greet. Um, So imagine once a month you do a meet and greet after the service, where, people just are able to connect with you, find out a little bit more about the church, uh, and it just helps them. Or if you don't want to do a meet and greet, skip the meet and greet, go straight to a membership class, or go to some other thing. But it's next step is about, hey, up to this point, your interaction with the church has been you watching the church, right? You come and you attend the service. You're watching. I want you to take a deeper step in your connection. Again, that can be a meet and greet, that can be a membership class, that could be, hey, we're going to go feed the homeless, come join us. Whatever the next step is that you want to provide, but it's, you know, I like a meet and greet. Um, I just had a church do a meet and greet. I can't remember if it was the week before or after Mother's Day. But for them, they had about 10 people that showed up,
Right.
10 to 20 people, something like that. But they were thrilled. Why? Because it wasn't the amount of people who showed up, it was the level of conversation they were able to have with these people. And that's kind of the opportunity, really, that the meet and greet is really is about going deeper. And then in their meet and greet, they invite people to take the membership class. And so they had about 7 or 8 people sign up for their membership class, you
So
know.
this is just okay. So I'm following your steps here, right?
Mhm.
If we say, let's say they're up to week four and it's next steps.
Oh, over here
Um,
in the follow-up, sorry. Yep.
yeah. So let's say we're week four, next steps. Whether a person in those 4 weeks visited once or 4 times, came every Sunday, you're saying that um, week four there should be some next step that they're told to take.
There's an invitation to something.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah. Does everybody take it? No.
Right,
Does a portion of people take it? Yeah.
right,
And so, the I think the more you do this and you keep track of the numbers, the higher percentage of people that will begin saying yes. Because you've got to start to recognize, this is it's going to sound really weird, but some of this is about the right timing, right? They're on this journey, and then you're kind of intersecting this journey.
yeah,
Too early, they're not ready. Too late, they're like, forget the church. I don't even care about God anymore. Look what happened. But that, for some people, the right timing, it's like, man, I've been looking for this thing all my life, and here you guys have been around the corner from my home, and I never even recognized you guys. Right. You
right.
know,
I was just trying. Okay, that's good. I was just trying to get if the regardless as to how many times they came, week number four is always the next step in this process that you're talking about. Okay, I got it.
Yes, yes. And my hope is that, they'll come at least once or twice,
Okay.
before then. And this will include maybe a phone call, some check-ins, things like that, because we want to follow up. And look, after 4 weeks, if they don't want to hear from you, they can unsubscribe. And if they don't unsubscribe, and this was something that I was kind of trying to explain to Elder Sharice. If someone doesn't unsubscribe, I don't know for sure if their lack of response means they don't want to hear from me. It might just be that life happens, there's an enemy, and so I'm going to continue to follow up with people until they tell me stop,
Okay.
right? But after 4 weeks, I move into a once a month rhythm. So once a month, hey, here's our next major event. It's going to be Christmas. It's going to be Thanksgiving, January, there's a sermon that you might be doing, and we're going to give it a title, right? We're looking at your Sundays and just making some small adjustments to make sure that there's no reason why someone should say no. Like I'm making every excuse for someone to come on a Sunday. Um, and your sermons really play a major role in that, you know. And so what I mean by that, just to be 100% clear, I'm not asking you to change your sermons or preach anything different. I'm just asking you to take a look at your sermon and give it a title that we can then market to people or share it with people. What did you preach this past Sunday?
I did not know.
What was the last sermon you preached?
Last sermon I preached was this is the second week in June. So
The
last sermon I preached may have been the beginning of May or end of April.
Okay. So what was the sermon on?
Gee, now you asked me to remember 4 weeks ago.
Oh man.
I think it was on. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember
What
to be honest.
what was preached this past Sunday?
This past Sunday we did corporate prayer. My wife spoke about the peace of God.
Peace of God. Right.
Right.
So here's what typically pastors do is they'll give it some sort of title and they'll call it literally the peace of God. Right. The problem with that title is that what catches, again, we're not talking to Christians, we're talking to non-Christians at this point. What catches their attention isn't solutions, it's tensions or issues. So when I say the peace of God, I've already solved the problem. Okay, and they're not, there's no interest. But if I give it a title that has more to do with the tensions, like overcoming um um
Anxious thoughts.
overcoming anxious thoughts, right? And maybe I mess around with this a little bit. Maybe there's some song that was like, I can't, um, I can't get, this out of my mind. Oh, wait, what was it? I'm going out of my mind. Something like that. There was some song like that.
Right.
I'm going out of my mind. Um, so now all of a sudden, my title and my communication about the sermon isn't focused on the solution, right? The peace of God. It's focused on the tension. And so most people identify with our problems more than they do with the solutions. So if you said the peace of God, most people would be like, okay. But if you said, hey, are you feeling anxious? Yeah, you know. And then now that becomes my title. That's what I market, that's what I communicate, that's what I'm sharing. So that way people can start to see, oh wow, you know, the sermon's still going to be on the peace of God,
Right.
but my communication and my marketing is going to be on anxious thoughts.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a very good insight into how you draw people.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because um because the other thing is when you say peace of God, you've already solved the problem. People are attracted to blanks, you know. You know how the fill in the blank. And
Yep.
if you've ever seen soap operas, General Hospital or any of those things,
Yeah.
it almost always ends with somebody got shot and we don't know who did it, right? What did they do? They opened up a blank, right? And then our minds gravitate to having to close. And in the marketing world, they call these loops. They said, "Hey, I every episode at the end opens a loop, and then the next episode, you've got to see the next episode if you want the loop to get closed." That makes sense. So now in my marketing, I'm saying I'm not closing a loop, right? I'm not saying peace of God. I'm opening up a loop. I'm saying anxious thoughts. You know, if you've ever had, if you find yourself waking up at 4 in the morning and your mind is racing, man, this Sunday, we're gonna help you resolve that. You're gonna be able to, after this sermon, you're gonna be able to sleep, like a baby. Come find out the one thing that God has for you that's going to help you overcome every anxious thought. I'm like, man, I got anxious thoughts. You're gonna help me solve my problem? Yeah, right. That that's the that's why we wanna go with tensions. And then your sermon resolves the tension. You know. Any questions about that?
No, I mean I see how that makes sense, not just for even though you're saying it's a week number four follow up um step, that's
Oh, I meant
you
it. I'm
know
sorry. I meant it for here for the long-term follow-up.
for the long term. I see.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah,
once a
yeah, you're
month.
right. That's what I meant. You're right. That's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah. So once a month when I'm inviting people who haven't come to the church in, I don't know, however long they haven't come,
Right.
they're looking at this and they're saying, okay, you're going to talk about an issue that I have.
I get you.
Yeah, I
What I
think,
was saying, the point that I was making was that's not only good for that, but that should be the title of the sermon period on Sunday so that everybody can, get that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you've got that. You've got events. If you're doing an outreach, anything that you're doing, you want it to feel like it's going to solve a problem for people. Because people, again, but you can't give them the solution. If you give them the solution, it just whether they still might need the solution, but something in their brains just clicks off.
Right. I think
Ah,
I think it's a matter of it's almost like if I could give an analogy, um, like if you start with the solution, you still may get, you know, it's like fishing with a line, right? You still might get a catch,
mhm.
but if you start with the tension, it's like fishing with a net. You might get a little bit more inside that net in terms of the interest, piquing people's interest. But I got it. That's clear. I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. I think I heard it this way. People tend to run away from issues versus running to solutions.
Mm.
So people are running away from problems. So I start with the problems. If I say to you, if I'm a salesman and I say, man, your TV's broken, the probability of me closing the sale increases dramatically because your TV's broken. You got a problem. You're gonna miss a Nick game tonight. You better come down if your TV's broken, you know. But if you already have a 42-inch TV and it's working fine, and I'm just trying to sell you a 50-inch, you're gonna be like, my TV's pretty good.
Right,
I may not have the HD or SD or 4K or whatever the thing is right now,
right.
but I'm gonna see the game tonight, right? I'm not running from a problem, So if I'm running from the problem, the probability of making that decision increases dramatically, you know. Um, and then step four is the actual membership class. And so typically from a meet and greet, we'll do some announcements on Sunday. We'll make some phone calls. Hey, just want to invite you. We've got this class going on. Um, the with membership, a couple of things that I like to do. One, um, I'm going to say we go 4 steps. You can do all 4 steps in one Sunday. You can do it in 4 weeks. It's up to you. And I have a template for this, so I can just give you the membership class template. Week one, we talk about just the DNA of the church, history, who we are, and expectations. So when I say expectations, what if you're going to join a church, this is what we expect of our members. If you're a member of our church, this is what you can expect of us. And we may talk a little bit about how we're structured and governance and that kind of stuff, but I include it in our workbook. So everybody gets a workbook and I'll include it in the workbook, but I'll only talk about it if I feel like the majority of the people in the room for this class are transfers. If they're not transfers, meaning they've come from another church, so they're familiar with the church world, so they care about structure and boards. Because I was burnt at my other church. The pastor didn't have any board, he had no accountability. Like they care about that stuff. But people who are new, they don't really care. They just want to know that you're going to take care of them and their family. You know, week two, um, week two, we'll talk about spiritual gifts. And so there's a spiritual gift exam, there's a personality exam, and people love this because really the whole premise behind this. I'm sorry, this might be yeah. So the premise behind this is the better I understand how God has formed me, the better I understand what He has for me. Does that make sense? So when I take a look at how He has wired me and created me, then I actually have an insight as to how He wants to use me.
Do you have a, because believe it or not, I've been looking for a spiritual gifts assessment now for about a month because the one that
Oh,
we've used,
yeah,
because the one that we've used isn't good anymore. And the ones that I see online, they just seem to be. So I wonder, do you have something specific that you use?
yeah. So it's inside of the membership class, the membership link. Let me just see. The membership class. It's coming. Sorry, when it gets hot and my room is really hot, my computer starts to overheat and it goes from regular speed to super slow.
That's all right.
Um,
I mean, even if you don't send it now, you can send it,
yeah, give me
after.
it's so yeah, the whole remember the co-work thing I mentioned, it's looking for it. It'll give me the link and I'll text it to you. But it's
All right.
based on two things. It's based on the DISC assessment. Are you familiar with DISC?
Yeah.
So you've got the DISC assessment and then you have a spiritual gifts assessment.
Okay.
So when we're done, you'll have an idea of your personality type, a D, M, I, S, or a C, or the spiritual giftings. And what's pretty cool is that the template, give me the link. The template, um, it also has like a breakdown of every spiritual gift. So when you look at it, you know, and look, there might be some language that you may want to change. I know some churches that they look at this and they're like, this is not a spiritual gift. Or we say it this way. Fine. Say it however you want to say it, change the language, make it yours. Just keep the order because the order is how the math works. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you've got to add them across. I just texted to you. You've got to
Okay,
add it
great.
across and then you got to add it down. And then based on it, it'll give you the assessment. It's not really hard. It's not hard. It does take time. I will say this. It does take time to work through. The third thing I go through is spiritual disciplines. Um, so the reason I like this is because I want people to walk away with some basics of the faith. This is not a um just to be 100% clear, this is a connection process, not a discipleship process,
Okay.
right? So people aren't going to walk away with, oh my gosh, I feel like I understand the entire Bible. That we haven't gotten to that yet. This is all about me just getting a taste of some of the disciplines I need in order to manage my spiritual growth. And so the concept behind it is what I kind of call try then buy. And so simply what it means is in the class, I'm going to say something to you like, hey, let me talk to you about prayer. I'll take 4 or 5 minutes and talk about prayer, intercessory prayer, praying for others, praying for myself, worship and prayer. And then I'm saying, hey, we're going to take 2 minutes. We're going to break up into groups of twos because I want you to practice in this room praying for one another. So when you go home, you feel more confident in your ability to pray,
Okay.
right? So I'll do that for worship. I'll do that for reading your Bible. Hey, we're going to do a quick devotional because I want you to walk away understanding what it feels like and seems like to do a devotion. Ask me questions. And, week 4 is all about getting you to take a next step or will, kind of join the family. So in the fourth step, you're going to decide on a ministry. You're going to decide on whether you want to join the church or not. We might say something like, hey, like in week 1, I'm probably going to say something like, hey, this is the number one reason why you may not end up being a member of the church. You might be struggling because you have addictions. You might be struggling because you're living common law. Whatever the reasons and rationales are, I will communicate that in week 1 so people know ahead of time. I've had couples that were same-sex couples. And so from the beginning, we were like, hey, just want to be really clear. You know, um, this is a Christian church. So if you wanted to join the church, but you don't have a relationship with Jesus, that is a prerequisite, right? You don't know who Jesus is. And I used to make an altar call in the first week. I'd say, hey, if you're in this room and you're not 100% sure about your relationship with the Lord, I'm sorry, this thing wants to give me a thumbs up. No, raise your hand or something like that. And then I would pray a general prayer over everyone, sinner's prayer, kind of lead them in the moment. Hey, if that was you and I prayed for you after the meeting, come meet me here. That way we'll make sure we get you a Bible and help you take further next steps. Um, so this is the membership class.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'll have to, if you have, because we have um a booklet that we do membership with. So I would compare the two, and like
Yeah.
you said, because a lot of the titles are the same when you went over it. Like we do governance, we do spiritual gifts. That's why I was asking you. That's why I was saying I was looking for something. But
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it and I'll see the similarities and because some things that we have already in set we'll probably leave. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we're always open to something new though.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, if it's working for you,
Yeah,
then make little adjustments, but don't change it. It would be unnecessary to change.
right.
Um, Step 5 is onboarding. So onboarding is the idea that a year from now, I want to make sure that you are still connected to the church. So what do I need to do to make sure that we connect you in such a way, or what are the levers that I need to take advantage of to ensure people are connected? And so there are 3 levers. right? Three reasons people stay connected to a ministry. Number one is relationships. I love who I've served with. Number two is purpose. I love what I get to do. Number three is information. I am clear on what's being expected of me. And so what we do is we have an onboarding process, onboard process. And so the first step is what we call a next step conversation. You might call it like a membership interview. The whole purpose is I just want to make sure. So I don't see this as I'm going to tell you no, you can't join the church. I see this as you may not be ready to join the church because maybe you're living common law. So can we, if do you guys want to get it right with God? And if you do, then man, we'll help you. We'll get you into like a marriage foundations class. We'll do, we'll help you get city hall license and go get married, or we'll do it in an office or something like that. But we want to help you get right. Or hey, maybe you have an addiction. Man, we want to get you into a recovery program. We want to help you, you know, or hey, you're good. Hey, let's get you serving in a ministry. But this is the first conversation we have, and it's a one-on-one conversation where we're asking questions to really get to know where the person is and determine what is the best next step for that person. Okay. Step two, um, Step two, once we know, hey, they should be joining a ministry, then we have an orientation call. And that's like a 20-minute call between the ministry leader or someone who's representing the ministry and the person who's looking to join the ministry. All right. So this conversation is real simple. It's just, hey, here's some of the expectations. Here's the time. Here's the this. Here's the that. I need to do this thing. I need to run a background check. Whatever it is we need. Right. All of that we're communicating to them. Once they're good, we schedule them for step three, which we call first serve Sunday. And surprise, it's the first Sunday that they're actually serving. That's the day maybe we show them how to serve. We give them, make sure that they're on the team, give them a name tag, whatever they need so that they can be part of the ministry. Step four, we move them into what we call a grace period. What I have found over time is that people, are you asking a question?
No, no, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. What I have found is that people join a ministry, they don't know how to get out of it. And so they kind of just like stop coming. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to give you 3 months to try the ministry, or we're going to give you 2 months or a month. Try the ministry and determine if this is for you.
Yeah.
Right. It's a grace period. And then during the grace period, we assign what we call a ministry buddy. And the point of the ministry buddy is a weekly check-in. And how are you doing? How's the family? How's this? How's that? It's just why? Because again, relationships, right? Relationships is one of the keys. So I want to make sure that we're helping them understand, helping them be cared for. And then the last one is the evaluation conversation. And all that really is, hey, is this ministry for you? Do you want to stay here? If they say no, then we go back to step two. Find another ministry and let's get you reconnected. If they say yes, hey, welcome to the ministry. You're official. And the process there, at that point, they're officially connected because they are part of the body and they're serving. They're in relationships with somebody or a group of people. That makes sense.
Yeah, man.
You know,
So all of this, because we started by saying what assimilation is, right?
yeah.
So, so this is the I think there was first time guests follow up. So this is the follow up portion, right?
So follow-up is like right here.
Okay.
Right. So the purpose of this is so when I break up my when I break up church growth, right? I break up church growth into three steps, right? I want to reach my community. I want to connect the people I've reached. I want to grow the people I've connected. That makes sense?
Yeah,
So outreach, connections, discipleship. Right. So I'm trying to reach my community, evangelism, all that stuff. I'm trying to connect the people I've reached. So yes, I want to follow up with you, but the goal of follow-up is I ultimately want you connected. I want you
yeah,
to feel like this church is your family. I want you to go from I'm going to that church to this is my church. And that's what this whole overall process is
yeah.
about.
I got it. I see. First time guest, follow up, meet and greet, membership class, onboarding. Because I wrote
Yes.
down what you said, what assimilation is to you. Okay, all right, I got you.
All
So
right,
this
makes
is the way that you teach it.
yeah, yeah. This was a short version. I mean, if I go through my videos, I try to keep my videos so about 5 to 10 minutes each video. So,
Okay.
you know,
All right,
um,
all right. So I mean, to getting back to your original question, I know they have a meeting.
mhm,
I'm going to hear. I won't be there, but I'll hear from Sharice or from the deacons to see. Excuse me. I'm sorry, where they are and what they have as their understanding of assimilation. But we'll get to this. I'm
mhm.
certain we will.
Yeah,
So
and what I'm gonna do is, now that I'm understanding the co-work, like I mentioned to you, even more, I'm going to turn all of this into maybe a pretty extensive, um, I guess, workbook that I can kind of just be like, hey, here's step one, here's boom, all the activity. Here's step two, here's the activities. Here's step three. That just kind of works. So I can hand it to you or anyone else, and it's just, okay, this thing makes sense. I see how all
yeah,
of this works together.
yep, I got you. It's good stuff.
Mm.
So you're still sending me co-work, or you did that already?
No, no. Well, I'm gonna show it to you.
Oh, you're showing it to me. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have, I'm going to send you this recording.
Good,
Let
good.
me do this. Let me just export this image. Um, and then I'm going to boom. So co-work, is there a way for me to show? I think I can show it to you through here. Yeah, so you should be seeing my screen.
I do.
Yeah, so what this is um so you've got Chat GPT, you've got a whole bunch of other different, programs. Claude is one of these programs. Claude has this thing called Cowork. Cowork sits on your computer. You can you can customize it, meaning you can connect it to to different programs. So right here, you see how it says connect your apps? You can connect it to your apps. And imagine you need to set up an appointment after a meeting, and you just kind of say, hey, set up this appointment X, Y, and Z, and it does it for you. It can send emails on your behalf. It can draft emails. It can it can connect to Canva if you want and do stuff for you in Canva. Um, I have it connected to Gmail. It's helping me manage my Google Drive. I can set it up for Zoom so that way it can, the moment I finish my videos, like a recording, it can actually take the recording and do a summary for me. And it works because it actually sits on my computer and it can connect to all of my files on my computer and on my Google Drive.
Mm,
Here's why what I like about it. I'll show you one. Um, and I'm sorry, my if you were here in the room, you'd hear my computer is like working hard. I might eventually need to get another one just so where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is it this one? Yeah, so this runs on a daily basis, right? Um, and so what it does is it actually checks, it's supposed to go through my emails, my calendar, and then it sends me a daily email outlining all of the main emails I need to look for, outlining any of the main events. So I literally look at my email in the mornings and I'm like, oh, okay, this is my day. This is what I got to work on. Right. And it helps me manage my responsibilities versus me having to, you know, go crazy trying to handle. So when I think of this, I think of what administrative stuff can I hand over to it that I don't have to worry about more, you know. Um, Let me see, this was an old one. Um, this was I kind of just said, hey, what are some of the things it can do for me? And so it can create files. So let's say you've got to run a report. Just tell it what's the report. And if you have a template, like you've done it before, so if there's like a monthly report that you run, show it
Right.
and it can run it for you. And you
Right.
can put it, you see how it says schedules? So let's say you run a, I don't know, a first time guest report every month. You just put it in there and it pulls the data from wherever it needs to pull it from and it creates a report for you. Now you don't have to create it anymore. Um, you know, the if there's anything you needed to summarize or to help you with, it does. It can research stuff on the web for you. Let's say you're planning a vacation. You know, hey, help me find airline tickets to go to wherever it is and what are some of the best dates. And obviously it can proofread and help you write emails. Um, and then a lot of this stuff you can automate. And the thing that I've been just as I'm talking to pastors about this, that I'm really trying to help them understand is that there's really 5 steps for leveraging AI, right? So the most basic step is chat. This is where you talk to it and it gives you an answer, right? So that's chat. Step two is personalization. This is where it gets to know you better. It gets to know, maybe you upload some of your sermons, and now when it writes something for you, it sounds more like you because it's using your voice from your sermons. Maybe it knows a bit about the community you're in. And so you can ask it to help you, plan an outreach. And what I'm saying, it'll do it, but it'll do it based on your community. So personalization. The third is what you hear people call teams, AI teams. And this is where we load specific skills or prompts that do a certain thing. So, for example, I have a prompt that what it does is it's to help you plan an outreach. You put in the information, you tell it what you want to do, and then it gives you 3 samples of a flyer. It then turns around and once you decide which flyer you want, it creates all of your emails, your post for social media, and it creates graphics for them. And it does it like, I don't know, 3, 4 minutes. Creating a flyer would take me like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, so you've got AI teams, and the fourth is connections. This is where it connects to some of your programs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, it can go through your emails, get rid of all of your junk emails. And then the fifth one is automations. And this is where, again, we use like the scheduling and we say, hey, every Monday at 3 o'clock, do this. Every Tuesday at this time, do this. And it just runs like clockwork. So that way you're not even thinking about it, it's doing it for you. Hey, if let's say you have counseling appointments, hey, go through my calendar and confirm my counseling appointments. Send them an email reminder that we're going to be meeting at such and such time. Or if you connect a texting program to it, hey, send them a text message reminding them we're meeting at this, whatever the time is. And the program would go through your calendar every single day and take a look at your appointments and send reminder text messages to them. Um, so it does all of that stuff. So I'm
Cool.
just yeah, I'm getting involved in this more and more because the truth is that I need to get to a point where um, I've got the help that I need to be able to continue to provide the level of support. So one of the things that I'm gonna start working on is how like the org chart and leadership values and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of like, hey, I send you a form, you answer some of the questions on the form, and then the system helps me create the first draft.
Okay.
So by the time we sit down, there's already a first draft of the org chart, and then we're just kind of versus working from a blank piece of paper, now we're kind of working from something that allows us to make changes. So, you know, have you gotten to use the Resound app?
I tried it. I tried it on a couple things.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you a few questions on that. I won't do it today though, because I'm getting ready for our men's meeting.
Okay.
But yeah, I have used it. But because I haven't spoken, the next time I speak is Father's Day.
Yeah.
So I put something in there in terms of a thought, and it gave me some feedback.
Oh, nice.
I think the only thing that I was going to ask you, but like I said, we're going to have to get into today, is I thought it was going to save what I put in. So when I went back to look for it, I didn't see it.
It should be under library.
I think I looked in library, but I'm not
You
talking about
didn't.
for the one for Father's Day that I found. It was something else
Okay.
that I put. Um, I could be doing something wrong in it.
I'll,
I know there's a few segments that says soon to come, soon to come, soon to come.
yeah, and some
But
of them are
the ones that
okay.
I did use though, um, well, something I put in that I couldn't find the next day. I can't remember what it was though. Yeah,
Okay. All right. So I'll take a look at it because I with that the feature might be working, but obviously the language isn't simple enough that you were able to find it. So I've got to make sure that, when you're creating programs, the program should come down to the level of the user, not the
okay,
user trying to come up to the level of the program. And
okay,
so that, I've got someone else gave me similar feedback where they were kind of like, yeah, I wasn't sure how to find this. And I was like,
okay,
okay, I've got to make it simpler because it should be intuitive that you look at it and you know exactly where everything is. And that
okay,
you don't need a degree in computer science to figure it out.
okay.
So yeah, let me keep working on that. So that way
No
it
problem. And
and
I go back to use it because I ran something else in it. I remember asking you about a YouTube. I think something that we were working on, but you were on vacation. I didn't want to bother you.
oh
Uh,
the YouTube summary stuff.
so I wasn't sure if I was supposed to post the link and then it gives me a summary of what that meeting was. But I think that's what the next thing I was trying to do. I couldn't find the problem was I said I wasn't going to do it now, and I'm doing it now, right?
It's fine,
The
it's fine.
problem the problem was I didn't know if I should put that in because it wasn't a sermon preparation. The three sections. I don't remember off the top of my head. I
Put it
wasn't
under
sure.
resources.
Say it again.
Under resources, under step 4.
That's where I should have put it.
Yep.
Okay.
And then what'll happen is it should so when you go to resources now, you're going to see that I added 3 more. But the one you want to look for is like Bible study outline. It should take the meeting and turn it into an outline.
Bible study outline.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll show you really quick. Uh, just
I was just getting ready to try to open it, but I went to something else. What is it? Resound dot
tryresound.com.
try, right? I gotta remember.
So
Try is correct.
when you go to resources, right, you'll click YouTube and you'll just paste the YouTube link in here. And then once it runs it, you'll see that one of the resources says Bible study outline. I think it's the third one on the first row. And that's the one that you wanna take a look at.
All right, so okay, so I'm on it now. So I
Mhm.
hit resources, that's number four.
Yep.
One says upload your sermon details. As I scroll down, it says paste text, YouTube link. Okay, I see. So if I
Yep.
put that YouTube,
And then take the YouTube link from the training.
okay, and then I put it where that little space is. I see.
Yep.
Okay. And then it says create discipleship resources.
That's it.
So that's right. I think that's where I got a little mixed up because I know I wasn't looking for a discipleship resource. I was just looking for like a summary of the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just called all of the things that because I'm kind of marketing this thing as like a discipleship tool
Yeah. Yeah.
creating thingy. Um,
Okay, I got you.
so look at the Bible study, but you'll see now that there's three more things I added. One is for like family discussions. So imagine, you preach a sermon and you give
Where
the
did you
words.
add that? I'm looking at it. I'm looking for it now.
Um, are you seeing the list coming down? Because it should be creating it still.
Oh, I didn't put any. I didn't put anything in it.
Oh, okay, okay. Once you hit the create discipleship resources, the next page, you'll see the resources starting to get created.
I see. I see.
And it'll come. It was one row before, it'll be two rows now.
Okay, I got you.
You
So
know,
I'll probably put in something over the weekend, man.
yeah. And what I'm gonna do, is I'm probably gonna add one more screen. So where once you hit create discipleship resources, it'll go to another screen that just you can click which ones you want. Because as I add more, it's gonna be like, man, I'm looking for a small group, study guide, and I just created 20 resources versus pick which one you want. So that might be the next one because I like the idea of adding some more resources so that way pastors can use it in multiple ways. And if you come up with any suggestions, like, man, it would be amazing if, I don't know, it did X, Y, and Z, like it created this discipleship resource, please
Sure.
let me know because I'll create it. You know, that's what I want this to be. I want this to be, hey, I preached a sermon and now I'm able to leverage the sermon to help people continue to grow.
Yeah, man, that's good, man. That is huge for the kingdom.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great.
So yeah. And I mean, I know you use it a little bit. Has there been any feedback or anything?
Not yet, not yet.
Mm.
Like I said, once I get into, I'm going to go back to the Father's Day one to see what it said. I did like what it said. I read briefly through it in terms of, in fact, I had it open. Let me just look at it really quick now. I think it gave me, let's see, since recent briefs, stand up, stand strong, a Father's Day call to discipleship. All right, let me click on that. It gave it that title. I didn't title that.
Okay.
All right, the big idea, sermon titles. It gives me five options. Scripture foundation. I think I put in what did I write originally?
It typically says it on the top, whatever you wrote.
Uh, Discern this week's sermons drop Monday to Wednesday. I don't see that, but anyway. All right. But what I did like, let's see, Scripture Foundation. It has context and word study, detention, stats, and current events. That I did like.
Mm. Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't read through all of it, but this is some good stuff, man. You gotta obviously you have to build your own message, but in terms of
Mhm.
in terms of what it'll allow you to do. I know the other thing I did. Now that I'm saying this, Ariel, I did put in a past message of mine I think it was called I forgot what it was called, but it gave me, I think it was Evaluate.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see if it's still there. Full rubric. Would it still have what I put in there?
See, that's it should. Let me go back to my screen.
Anyway, I didn't get good scores on it. I was like, wow, really? That was so funny.
You know what? And I'm probably gonna add a line that says something like chew the meat, spit out the bones. You know, because obviously it's using and I'll show you it. It uses this
Library, here it is. Let me see.
yeah, this rubric and stuff. And so,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
see it. It was called Strong in the Faith. So
yeah.
it says evaluate my sermon. You know what I did like though? Because it made sense because it said something about um let me see if it's still there. Yeah, it is still here. Okay, hold on. It's not open. So if I hit evaluate my sermon again, will it give me something new or will it give the
It
same thing?
might give you something new, but it should give you the same results.
Big idea two, biblical foundation two, introduction one, structure and flow one. And this is out of five, right?
Out of three.
Oh, out of three. Okay.
Hmm.
So I got several twos. All right. But here's what I was gonna say. I like gospel centrality. I love that, right?
Hmm.
Um, illustrations and stories. It helps me to become a little more, structured. And it says top five improvements. Sharpening and share the big idea early. That's
Hmm.
Man, that's great.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Restructure the middle, one argument at a time. Build a strong introduction with tension. I love that. I like those. I like that kind of challenge, because listen, I've been doing messages for a long time, man, and I'm not. I love, I love preaching. I like teaching. I like preparing messages.
Hmm.
And if you know, I I very rarely rate myself, but if I think that I'm, good at what I do, can you imagine using something like this?
Hmm.
I mean, that's
Hmm.
like, wow.
I preached um maybe about February or March. I preached the message at the church. It literally was a week before I created my first version of the evaluation. Um, and so I thought it flopped. I was like, oh my God, this was the worst. I took my notes, popped it into there. It ate me up. And I was like, man, if I would have had this a week ago, I would have been smart enough to make the changes, and this would have been a much better, fluid message. So I was so frustrated with myself because what I did was it was during a prayer meeting, so I had like maybe 20 to 30 minutes, and I ended up having five major points. And I'm thinking afterwards, I was like, what was I thinking? In my head, this was gonna be an amazing message.
Right.
And when I communicated it, I'm literally thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I am saying way too much. This
Yeah.
is going too long. And
Yeah.
if I would have run it through here, that would have told me you've got too many messages, cut it down. And this would have told me it literally gave me like a 1.3 or something like that. I was like, I created you. How dare you give me a 1.3?
No, that's good, man. It's technology is something when if you can do that,
Yeah.
and if it improves the man or the woman of God for the kingdom of God, it's, to me, the greatest message in the world is the gospel, right? So if I have something that helps me to be even more clearer to a person who's not saved,
Yeah.
you got to utilize it, man. It's because you
Yeah.
know, it's the
Yeah.
greatest message in the world, brother.
Yeah.
So this is I can't wait to use it for Father's Day. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm gonna test it.
And if something doesn't work the way it should, or you think it should, please let me know. Because again, I'm building it, and if I'm missing something, you know, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna quote some of what you just said right now, especially when you said the gospel, the most important message. And if I can use something that's gonna help
Absolutely.
me, man, that is, yeah, I'm gonna add it to the
Absolutely.
front page,
Absolutely.
because that
Absolutely.
really is that is the heart behind it. I want to make sure that pastors have everything they need to be able to share the gospel with clarity and power and authority. And the problem, I think, at least for me, is that in my head, every sermon is the most amazing sermon in the world,
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it.
and then I share it, and then my wife gives me the look like, is that what you've been working on all this time?
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, maybe it wasn't as good as it was. I thought it
And you know what
was.
else though? You know what else though? Even for people coming up in terms of a training tool,
Hmm.
imagine, because you know how many times I've had people say to me, "Can you give a class on preaching?"
Yep.
And I keep saying, I could, but I'm not even sure where to start.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So can
Yep.
you imagine, using something that says, what did I read? Centrality of the gospel. Let me look at it again. Could you imagine using that, right? I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Centrality of the gospel, and I lost the
Yeah.
page, but whatever those things were. I mean,
Yeah.
those are good. Those are good things.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a message in February on um the Festival of Sukkot.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that came up. It was like, hey, you're really focused on this. Make sure you connect it all the way back to the gospel.
Mm,
And I was like, oh yeah, I will. It was like, man, this was yeah. So having a tool that just kind of reminds you of those things, and how I'm trying to build this is the rhythm of the week. So Monday through Wednesday, your what are you sensing? What are you feeling? Right? You're studying, you're prepping, you're preparing. Thursday, by then you've got some notes together. Run it through the thing. Let it give you some feedback. Then I still have step three that I've got to finish. Now that I have it, run it through the machine, let it create your slide deck for you. So you're not
yeah.
spending hours creating slides. And
Yeah.
then step four, man, I just preached this amazing message. God spoke to the people. Don't let it just, last on Sunday. It has to go
That's
beyond
that's
Sunday.
incredible. To me,
Yeah.
and you know what? Even just to, one of the things that I've always desired was to have a team that develops, the message, so
Yeah.
that hmm, we're kind of all on the same. See what we're doing now, and that's before you showed me this in January, because we did every January, like every other church does, we did our 21 days of fasting. So what we did, um, we have we had prayer 6 a.m. every morning.
Mm.
After the fast, instead of having it every day, we did it just on Wednesday, because Wednesday's our day of prayer and fasting.
Yeah.
But what we decided to do to carry over to make Wednesday stronger was whatever the Sunday morning sermon was and some of the points, we made that the prayer theme on Wednesday.
Oh, I think I'm gonna take that too.
Yeah.
There's my oh man, where's my notebook? So I'm gonna
We
I'm
have it on
gonna
recording, so you'll have
yes, 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 yes. You're right.
it.
We do.
Yeah.
And
So that's what we did. So whatever the sermon was on Sunday, we made that the prayer theme for Wednesday morning. And so what we do Wednesday morning, it's literally 15 minutes. We have like 30 people on every Wednesday since January. We
mm,
average about 30 people, right? And so um we Kathy sends out the prayer theme on Tuesday. So everybody has it Wednesday. They may have it in front of them. And we say, here's the prayer theme for today. When you pray and fast, here are the prayer points you're going to hit. And then the
mm,
person in charge, we don't take prayer requests because people are getting ready for work. All we do is we pray that theme and we pray those prayer points. On Wednesday night, the same thing. Now it's more
mm.
so, um,
I love
it's
that.
still prayer, but it's an hour.
Yeah.
And so we take the prayer points and we have call on people to pray for those prayer points. So the point that I'm making is that so what you've developed even enhances that more
Yeah. Yeah.
because that was in my mind already. Let's take what we do on Sunday and see if we can flesh it out during the week. This tool, it gives us the ability to have all of those. I think there were five things that were there, right? I
Originally.
mean,
No, we're at 7 or 8.
how incredible. I mean, you're talking
Yeah.
about discipleship and really strengthening your congregation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
how can how can you not use something like that? So my point is that if I were, my mind was already thinking that. How do you do this? And
Mm.
now here it is.
It's done for you.
It's got to do it for us.
Can I ask you a question about the prayer points? So when
Yeah,
you do your prayer points, are you providing prayer points for every day of the week or just for Wednesdays?
just for Wednesday.
All right. I gotta look. I'm wondering what it would look like if we did one, because you can still pull the Wednesday out of it, but if we did one for every day of the week, and do you have a sample of the prayer points?
Yeah,
All right, I'll see when you get a chance. Maybe you can
sure. I'll
send me
send you the
one.
one we did just Wednesday,
That would be
this past
perfect.
Wednesday. I'll
Yeah,
send it
because
to you.
it would give me a great example of what it looks like. And then that way it'll help me figure out, should it be something that happens? What I'm thinking about is, do I want to give prayer points Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to a congregation to kind of help them pray this message into existence? Or do I just want to give them prayer points for Wednesday, like what you're doing, like a prayer meeting? And maybe I can do both. I mean, you can take the prayer points from all 5 days and ignore Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and just do Wednesday.
Mm.
Um, but let me see once I see what you have, then I'll be able to really take a look at it and
Sending it
listen
right
to it.
now. AR. So I'm sending what Kathy sends out and what it looks like for the reader.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Because even if I can create something that she's using, I don't know how long it takes her to create this, but maybe I save her 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, what happens is we send it to her and she sends it out. So
Oh, okay, so who creates it though? You
I
you take
create
it
it.
right from your message.
I create it.
Got it.
Yeah, I take it. So this, like the one that I just sent you, right? These are the
Mhm.
exact points that my wife made. So the
Mm,
prayer focus are the points that she made in the message.
got it. Got it.
Or, it could be a variation of it, but that's what we've been doing since January. We've taken Sunday's message and we made it a Wednesday's prayer points, Wednesday morning and Wednesday night.
Yeah. No, I love that. Um you sent it to me? I haven't gotten it yet.
Yes, you haven't. I hope I sent it to the right
Oh, there
area.
it is. There it is. There it is. Just came in. As I was saying, great. Great. So I'm literally gonna feed this to the machine and
Okay.
say, hey, add me one more theme that does that.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. So, and that's what we do. I mean,
Oh, I love
so,
this.
so, so I'm excited about this and
Yeah,
the
you got you
possibility.
you've got me even more excited. Now I'm like, I gotta get back to work. I gotta get more pastors to sign up for this. They gotta see this thing.
You should,
You know.
man. And like I said, I can see churches having, you know, teaching teams because that's all several years ago, you know what we did, Ariel? We used to meet this before I had elders because we have people who really do communicate well.
Mhm.
So we used to meet with them and say, what can we teach on for the next? What can be our theme for 3 months?
Yeah.
You know, here's our theme: go away and not go away, but you know, work on this part of the theme so that we all can be saying the same thing around the theme. And then my thought was for children's church, right? Same theme for the parents, but broken down into children's language so that the kids can be discipled in the same way as the parents were.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that during the week, the parents have something to work with the kids on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
No.
saying? So
Yeah.
that's always been on my mind. What do we do Sunday? And then let's do with the children. And then on Friday in youth group, let's try to do some sort of, it doesn't have to be, while it's the same concept, it doesn't have to be preaching. It could
Mhm.
be a demonstration of
Yeah,
what's being taught,
yeah, yeah,
for youth group. So I try to have a thread throughout the entire thing where we disciple our entire church.
yeah. And that's, I mean, I haven't created anything for youth yet. And maybe I need to massage what I've created for parents. But that was the whole premise. For me, what I did was we took the main verse and then we turned it into discussion questions. And then the questions are broken down based on age range. So if you've got a kid that's like 5 to 10, these are questions for that age range. If they're a teen, this is for that age range. Because what I want to do is be able to put it in parents' hands and say, hey, here's what we can do to help you disciple your kids. Just because I know how challenging it was for me and my wife to figure this thing out
Right,
on what are we doing. And I still feel like we're figuring it out on what to do with our boys. But now we've got a resource that you can do it based on the message, you know. And then how the program works is that there's a section that is called under profile, it's called recipients. So you can just put Kathy's name there. And then once you run your sermon, you go to, it's going to show a button that says something like send email. You click it, Kathy's name will show up, and then you pick what you want to send to her.
mm,
So you don't even have to download it and send it somewhere else. If you want to change it, there's a Word version. Download the Word version and change it as how you see fit. But if you like it the way it is, boom, just send it to Kathy directly right from the program. You don't have to go anywhere else. You know, that's kind of, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible because I know what it's like to be a pastor and you've got so many things coming your way and it's
right,
like ease. How can I make this easy? It doesn't have to be always faster, but if it's mentally easier, what that means is it's less stuff on your brain, more
right.
clarity, so that's kind of the premise. So um yeah, so
And
as you
that's
mess
good.
with it, yeah, as you mess with it, let me know if there's anything I need to add to it, take away. I love the prayer request. I am definitely gonna add that, or the prayer points. I'm gonna add that,
Okay,
to it. Make
please do.
so I know
Amen,
you
brother.
I know you're
Let's
supposed to
enrich
be,
the kingdom, brother. Let's enrich the
yeah,
kingdom.
yeah. I was gonna say, I know you're supposed to be doing something tonight, right? With the men.
Yeah,
And
yeah. We have our men's every first Friday. We have our men's group.
hopefully you have enough time because I took over
Yeah,
your
yeah.
time. So
I will. I will. All right, brother. Listen. Thank you, man.
thank you. All right, we'll connect again next week. Let me know about Tuesday.
Okay.
All
Oh,
right.
let me. Hold on. Don't hang up. Let me see if they answered. See if I got any answers. Any answers? Any answers? Okay. No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, no. They answered. Two of them are not available though.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll figure it out if anything,
Yep.
maybe the following week.
Okay.
All right,
All right, young
Pastor.
man.
Have a fantastic, fantastic evening, the men.
Yes. Thank you. Let's go Knicks. Hopefully for your
Yeah.
kids. For your
Yeah.
kids.
At least by
All right, brother.
halftime. All right. God
See ya.
bless. Bye.